All right, all right, all right. We got CPI in the books. And we got a slight move. Just a slight move off of that. And I find it interesting, by the way, how yesterday, right, we saw the market absolutely rally, rip up at 3 p.m. Almost like somebody knew what was going on. And then before we got the report, which I'm going to go over in just a second, before we got the report at 8:26, we got a huge spike. Now at the time, this was a very big move. It went from 40.50 to 40.77. All right. That was before the actual number came out. Taking a lot of stop losses, gaining huge positions here for that move up higher. And that's exactly what happened. And then at 8:29, also another big move before the number came out. Somebody had to have known something, in my opinion. But that's good. Inflation came down, and that's a good thing. So, Chris, if you're on here, type into the chat and let me know that you're watching, and I'll show you how to do time and force on pre-market. But I'm not going to do that until I see that you're at least watching it, because I want to make sure that you're here. All right. So let's go over the CPI. We have about 17 minutes to the bell. So we're just going to let this kind of go for now, see what happens on the open. The market is up a huge amount already today. That could continue to go up. So if you think something is up so much, in the past, we have seen that it keeps going. So I don't want to trade against this trend, but I would like to get a better entry, right? I feel like I'm buying pretty high here. Risk to reward, I don't know. I just don't know how great that risk to reward is at this point. Now, we can easily continue to go higher and higher and higher, but I would like a better risk management by getting a better price here. So I'm just going to watch this for the time being and then go from there. Another cold day up here. Another cold, cold day. All right, let's look at the CPI. Why did the market rally so big? All right, that's the 8:30 readings right here. Core CPI month over month beat expectations. Very good. Core CPI year over year beat expectations. CPI year over year headline number beat expectations. Month over month beat expectations. This is all very good for inflation, while it is still very high. Inflation is still extremely high. The Fed is still going to have to, raise rates. This doesn't mean that the Fed is going to stop right here. Inflation is still very, very high, but it does show that what the Fed has done is at least working, right? And now these numbers, you have to realize, they're a month behind. So this is from, November's reading. Now what happens in December is still ongoing. So, they're pretty much working with old numbers. But, it is a good thing to look at, right? These are historical numbers. These are numbers that, do give guidance for monetary policy. So, it is good that inflation is coming down. So that's why the market decided to rally a huge amount. I mean, look at that move. That is a massive move. Now, I traded this on the first pullback here. I think right around this area, got a nice trade, and then I gave some back off the top. I was up, can't remember exactly, 107, something like that. So I gave back a little off the top, and I'm just now, just waiting for something, some kind of, maybe a better entry. I mean, the market's up over 3%. It could go higher. It could definitely go higher. But like I said, I would rather get a better entry. Maybe off the open, you get a spike down and you're able to get a better entry. Who knows? Not really sure at this point. But what I want to show you guys here is we broke out of this area. So just removing this stuff here. And you can see very clear for the year, right? This was a downtrend line here that was rejecting from January 1st, all right? The start of the year. Very, very clear. Well, we just broke that for the first time all year. So that is going to give the market a massive amount of momentum because we finally broke that line that hasn't been broken until this CPI report. We'll see if it holds up. Like what happened back here, I don't count this in my trend line because we had gapped down on a CPI report and then traded higher. All right, we had a bad CPI number and the market actually traded this up higher. So this could be, I'm not saying it is, but just want to make sure we close the day above this trend line because we don't want to get that same situation here where you had this in pre-market, you had the bottom wick, and I don't want to get that top wick here, and then we close down. All right, that can really crush a lot of bulls, a lot of longs here. So, we're going to have to wait. We got to wait and see what happens. There's going to be opportunity, obviously, during the day to take some trades. So that's what we're going to do. Hey, Matt, what's going on, buddy? Did Chris ever get that resolved in Discord about the time and force? I was going to show him how to do it here. You know what? I might as well just show him anyway. All right, so right here, if you want to change this, if you want to get time and force down here, so that if you're trading pre-market, we got to look at a stock. If you're trading pre-market, you can put on EXT, and that's how you take your trades. All right. So in order to do that, you have to go up here to this gear icon, click on it, and just add time and force, which you'll find on this side here. You add it. You can see right here, time and force is now over here. And that's it. It's as simple as that. And that's how you get this button here. So if you are trading pre-market, you got to really quickly make sure this is on EXT. You got your auto send on, and then you could go from there. So this is what Bookmap looks like. This is on Apple. If you get that free trial version, you get 3 things to look at. I mean, it's pretty interesting. You can see where the big orders are. Definitely up above here on Apple. There's some big orders here at the 150s. Man, this thing is still just grinding up. There's no quitting it. By the way, if you're trading, things like this, like momentum, yeah, the Bookmap is definitely, it's interesting, I would say, Matt. It's definitely interesting. I like to look at it. Like I said, I just started yesterday. exactly. It's good to see those key levels, but they do change. They change pretty quickly too. So it is good for day trading and scalping. You can see where those orders are. And what I noticed yesterday is price likes to gravitate towards that. So yeah, you can use that for exits. Definitely. I think that's definitely a smart way to do it. Um, but anyway, what I was saying here is this 9 EMA, right? When you have momentum going, the first pullback to that 9 EMA on the 1 minute chart, those will give you really good entries for continued momentum. And that's what we saw right here. This was a very good spot to have gotten long. It would have just taken a little patience instead of getting in on the first pullbacks, kind of wait a little bit until you get down back to that line because you're very extended up here and something's not going to always stay up here, right? It's always going to come back down and just retest some of these, either a key level, an indicator that you might use. Eventually, VWAP can be tested. I don't know about today. I mean, we're very, very over VWAP at this point. Really, really overbought territory. So I'm just going to mark out here the high at 418375. When that hit this, I think the market I think the market was up like almost 180 points. 30 more. Yeah, about 160 points up in a matter of a minute. I mean, that was crazy. That's crazy stuff. You just got to think, though. I mean, looking back on yesterday, and I'll just pull this up here on a 5 minute. Looking at this yesterday, look at this move we saw right here, starting at 3 o'clock, right? A huge rip up, a huge rip, a rally into the close. This type of rally I haven't seen in a while. And that was all ahead of CPI. Did somebody know something? I don't know. I didn't know. I'm sure a lot of you didn't know what the numbers were going to be, but I think somebody may have known. Something had to have happened there. That didn't make any sense to me. Rallying into a CPI. Yeah, and who came out? I forget what, JP Morgan, I think it was. They came out and they thought that the number was going to be a lot hotter than expected. It's funny how, you can be this like huge investment bank and put out really bad information. Now, you know, it's just tough to predict these things, but it just goes to show, even the best of the best, they don't know. Nobody knows. Nobody knows until the market tells you. And that's what's great about the markets, any kind of market in general. Markets are just really, really good. If something is too low, it gives you the opportunity to buy. If something is overbought, it gives you the opportunity to sell. And then you get that even balance for the market, the stock market. It's just definitely interesting. Any market, really. Oh, I didn't even realize we have 4 minutes to the bell. Starting a little bit of a pullback here on the 5 minutes. So I see that these two 5 minute candles right around that 4153 seems like it double topped here in the last 10 minutes and then started to pull on back a little bit. Just trying to figure out, where price can go. All right, that's the first time we had four red candles in a row on the 1 minute. Maybe it's getting a little toppy up here. We'll see. Don't want to start playing a reversal though, because haven't had much success trading against the trend. The trend is clear here, at least in the pre-market. At least in the pre-market, it's clear. Will that last? Who knows? We're currently up 120 points. Not really sure. You know, like I had shown you guys, and just one more time before the bell rings, like I showed you, the last time we had CPI here, had this huge gap down. Well, we're going to have a huge gap up over trend line. Can we see that same situation happen? I mean, that would be a massive bull trap if we ended up selling off today. But it happened before at this trend line. So just something to be aware of. I don't want to put in your head, you know, to get short, because this is a lot of strength, but it's just interesting that we've seen this before on a CPI report. And this one actually got bought up on a bad CPI report. We gapped down a huge amount. This was a good CPI report. We gapped up a huge amount. Will we sell off? I don't know. Yeah, and maybe we get a sell off because FOMC is tomorrow too, right? I don't know. We'll see. We'll play it by ear. I'm going to log off here now. It was great talking to you guys. Hit the thumbs up for the